Aloha, my name is Giuliano. I'm a wellness coach, a visionary artist, and an ocean lover. And today I want to talk to you about the elephant in the room, stress. But before we go any further, I want to rewind a little bit and ask you, growing up, I'm sure you learned how to count, how to read, how to ride a bike, maybe, etc. But did you learn how to deal with stress in your life? Through your teenage years, through high school, etc. Even for me, back in my engineering school, a few years ago, I learned how to design a robot that could pick up tennis balls and drop it in a bucket. And what I wish I would have learned as well was how to deal with the anxiety and the frustration that I felt during finals week, pulling all-nighters and living off of coffee and fast food. So in those years, I had my own ways of dealing with stress, and this is typical ways for college students. And I ended up realizing that this wasn't the healthiest, and it ended up putting more stress on my body than I had in the first place. So whether we realize it or not, stress is a normal part of life. You know, you think about a mother when she is giving birth to a child, to go kind of to an extreme, how stressful of an experience that can be. And this is a normal part of life, literally. And then even on the other end, we look at the baby, we look at this infant, and how much stress this newborn experiences, entering into a brand new reality, a brand new atmosphere, going from this inner world to this outer world, and all that entails to acclimate to. So in that sense, when we think about stress, there's about 5 different ways that we can experience stress in our life. So the first way is psychologically, and this can show up as a loop of negative thoughts. It can show up as self-doubt that we might have towards ourselves. It might show up as ill will that we might have towards someone else. It can show up as limiting beliefs. The second way is behaviorally. This can show up as unhealthy habit patterns. We all have our own, and it's totally fine. The third way is emotionally, that we can experience anxiety, we can experience depression, we can experience many different emotions that can create a condition of stress in our body. The fourth way is physically. Our body is always communicating with us all the time. Sometimes it can communicate with us through pain, through tightness, through injury, so many different ways that stress can manifest as a signal in your physical body. And the fifth way is spiritually. So this can show up as feeling disconnected, feeling lost in your life, feeling disconnected from yourself, feeling disconnected from others, and many different ways. So what do you do when you deal with stress? This is a really important question because it's not so much the stress itself, but rather how we relate with it. That's really important to focus on. So we've learned so many different ways growing up, from family, from friends, from loved ones, from our culture, etc. Did you learn to distract yourself when you're experiencing stress by watching TV, by scrolling through social media? Did you learn to just soldier on, brace it, keep going, ignore it, and kind of gung-ho style? Or did you learn to avoid it like that one family member at the Thanksgiving dinner? So one thing that I've learned in the last decade or so that I've been supporting people along their healing journey is that stress is a little misunderstood. And I invite you to expand your perspective and just choose to look at it from another angle. Maybe stress is showing up for a reason. So when I first gained this awareness, I started to reflect a bit. And off the top of my head, there were 2 reasons why stress has shown up for me in my life, has shown up for my clients in their lives, has shown up for friends and family that have shared their lives with me. And the first way stress is showing up as a messenger that there's an imbalance in our life. So for example, my father approached me a few years ago because he was suffering from intense back pain that was caused because he was spending several hours a day in front of the computer for work. So totally fine, totally normal. I've been there before. I know what he's going through. Now, what I did was I suggested him a few yoga poses that he could do for his age, even at 81 or 82 at the time. He's 83 now, or 84 rather. And he began practicing these yoga postures, simple poses that are designed to release stress and create space along the spine. And he came back to me after about a week or so, excited because the pain that he felt in his lower back had completely disappeared. So this is one of many ways that stress can show up for us as a messenger. In this context, a physical messenger. Now, a second way that stress can show up for us is an opportunity to grow. Have you ever given a speech before in the front of a classroom, in your work environment, etc.? And if you haven't, how do you feel when you imagine yourself in front of a group of people, 10 people, 20 people, 50 people, 200 people, 2,000 people, giving a speech? Now, for many of us, myself included, I have experienced anxiety, I have experienced fear, and so many different emotions, so much of a nervous reaction. And for those of us that have gotten the opportunity to go for it anyways, I want to say 9 times out of 10, we end up with a feeling of empowerment. We end up with a feeling of confidence. Like, yeah, this was super scary and I was on the verge of freaking out, but I went for it anyways. And actually, I kind of liked it. I kind of like being in the front of the room, being seen, being heard, having the opportunity to speak what's on my mind and to be received by all those that are there to listen to it. So that's another way that stress can show up for us as an opportunity to grow. Now, when it comes to dealing with stress in a healthy way, there are literally hundreds of thousands of ways to do so. And I want to share with you 3 distinct, different of my favorite ways to deal with stress. And they are meditation, meditation, and meditation. So for those of you that have been watching these videos, you have heard me speak about the benefits of meditation, how meditation has supported me and is continuing to support me to take a moment at least once a day to look into my mind, to look at my lifestyle, to look at my choices, to look at my habits, and be really clear and really honest with myself. What is it that is supporting my well-being, and what is it that is negatively influencing my well-being in my life? And this can come from certain relationships that I keep, certain association. This can come from certain environments that I choose to bring myself to, and how meditation gives me that moment to gain clarity. So another way that I love to deal with stress is to go out into nature. You know, you can go for a walk in your neighborhood once a day just to clear your mind. You can go to a local park. If you live near a beach or you live near a river or a stream, you can go sit by the water, go for a swim in the water, going for a hike in nature, and all of these incredible ways to deal with stress in a healthy way that are completely free. Now, I have an invitation for those of you that are wanting to clarify and discover what is your main source of stress. How is that creating imbalance in your life? What are the specific steps you can do to shift back into balance? Then I invite you to reach out to me. This is the essence of what my healing sessions are like as a wellness coach, diving into different areas of your life, seeing where are the blockages, where are those walls, what can we do to transform this stress into a strength, into an opportunity to grow, into an opportunity to learn more about yourself. So if that's something that resonates with you, I welcome you to reach out to me, because really, truly, we all deserve to learn how to manage stress in our lives, how to restore and cultivate harmony in our lives. This is something that I personally experience, and this is something that I really envision every single person on the planet can have access to as well. So if you love this video, let me know. Leave me a comment of what were some of your main insights, what were some of your reflections, what were some ideas that came in related to stress, what are some of your favorite ways that you love dealing with stress. And if you know somebody who's stressed out, we all do, consider sharing this video with them. Maybe this would support them along their journey. And I invite you today and all days to be mindful of how you engage with stress, to be curious, to explore different ways that you can relate with stress, how you can befriend stress, how you can recognize how stress is serving you in your life. So I wish you a blessed day, and until the next time we meet, aloha.